Jeff. We should start right at the top. I think one of the biggest pieces of news that caught everybody by surprise is the idea that Ron Killings is going to be leaving WWE. As we're recording this yesterday on Sunday, he took to Twitter to say, "I'm sorry to inform you all, I just got released from WWE. I want to thank WWE for the ride, but mostly I want to thank each and every one of you who was along for the ride. Thank you for all the love, support, and appreciation you've given me over the years. Thank you." This is a big deal. He has been, WrestleVotes over on Twitter actually posted, which I thought was interesting. He first reported to work for WWE with this run, because I know he had a cup of coffee there before, January 29th, 2008. So that was 6,335 days ago. And to put that in perspective, that same week is when we saw the debut of Wildcat Chris Harris, or when he first signed. I mean, it was that long ago that he started. And that's the same week that WWE switched over to HD television production. Think about that. Like, R-Truth has been with WWE as long as HD has, Jeff. It's crazy.
That is. And hey, Dave, will you throw that graphic back up? I want to ask Connie to take a look at, I don't want to reread that, but look at the very bottom. And that was at 10 o'clock in the morning. How many views that has? I like immediately. That was within the hour, right? It had to have been 60.
People were blown away by this,
Yes.
Jeff. Like, the response and outpouring of love and appreciation for Ron Killings is unlike almost anybody we've seen. In modern times, when there's a big release like this, obviously usually there's a build. We know someone's unhappy. We know their contract is coming due. We know that they've announced they're retiring, something like that. It's rare that one catches you totally off guard, especially with it being someone who was a lifer. Like, no disrespect to Braun Strowman. I know we both think a lot of him, and he was recently released. But respectfully, he had been released before, and he's been there for a while, maybe 10 years or so, but not like as long as HD was. I just thought Ron Killings had a job for life. And this feels, to me, as a longtime UFC fan, a little bit like when UFC sold to Endeavor. Prior to that, Jeff, I'm sure you recall the UFC once upon a time was struggling to find a voice, much less find profit. I mean, they were hard pressed to even find television time. So they self-fund The Ultimate Fighter. That turns their fortune around. But a guy like Forrest Griffin and guys like Chuck Liddell and guys like Matt Hughes, they were there sort of planting the seeds and paving the roads for what was to come with the UFC. And so Dana White and the Fertitta brothers made those guys like ambassadors of sorts. And they were paying them $250,000 a year, I think, to just be, make public appearances for the company. But they had jobs for life. That was the understanding. We're appreciative that you got us here, and we're going to take care of you guys forever. And almost immediately, Endeavor said, "Hey, we're not getting a return on this. We got to cut this." And that was it. Those guys were done. This feels a little bit that way because we're also seeing Carlito posting that his contract is up in 2 weeks and it will not be renewed. On top of that, WWE is demanding I pay back the money they paid me for apparently stealing money from the company. I've had my lawyers look into it, and after reviewing the footage on Netflix for the past few months, they suggested I pay them back the money. All jokes aside, gracias WWE, especially the WWE Universe. I'll reappear again in another 13 years. I love that. I love that he's got the right healthy approach and attitude towards it. But there's lots of other speculation because people are saying or suggesting, hey, is Miz next? He deleted a lot of references to WWE, and what could this mean? Maybe it's something, maybe it's nothing. But I do know someone inside the tent, or someone who has a friend inside the tent. I won't betray confidences, but it's not Bruce. Let me just say that. And he told me, Jeff, this is the first of many dominoes to fall. This is just the first one.
Yeah.
And this is kind of picking up what we talked about last week about corporate wrestling, is it not?
That's what I mean, the realities of the executive leadership of the WWE from what it was, we'll call it in the past regime. It's, man, last week's topic, and we talked about all kinds of things, but what the powers that be came out with, corporate wrestling. What was the title? Yeah, because it was, to me, it is, man, to follow our pod last week and talk about it this week, and you talking about, with not even knowing that, that does not surprise me at all. Going to be more dominoes to fall, but I would give anything. Man, my father wrote Bob Carter a letter right when they came on board, and I'm just going to say right when things were off and running, and from a perspective of getting stabilized, as just kind of getting the inner workings of the J Sports and Entertainment back in those days, and Panda Energy International, and just kind of like, okay, this is exactly how this isn't exactly how things are going to go, but we're at least kind of at sea level on how we're going to navigate the waters coming up. I'm talking about like in the fall of that year. And as we got into 2003, my dad wrote Bob a letter, and it was very lengthy, and it was, part of it was the mind of a wrestler that got pretty deep and psychological, that when he told me what it was about, I just, man, I don't know that Bob's going to fully digest that. But what he did also kind of open up and close with it. And he talked about the transition from territory days and how those promoters had a mindset. And then, he said for the last 15, 20 years, it was Ted Turner and a corporate structure and Vince McMahon and a private, but he kind of harped into, this is a niche business, and there's a reason there's a niche business, because a lot of things don't make sense on the surface. And I just couldn't agree more with that, just kind of that premise, in that I can fully imagine, I'll just say, Ari Emanuel and his team, when they look at these talents and their contracts, and maybe they have a metric of how many times they've appeared on TV, and they're not running house shows and whatever metrics they run through it. And I know there's personal decisions put in and personal emotion, but for the most part, I don't think they can add up. They couldn't add up with Chuck Liddell and the, we'll call it the legends of UFC. And now it looks like anybody who's got some time in up there, they're going to be seeing the door. And I've said it often. I said it yesterday, stuck in airports and what a complete travel, but you didn't see me post about it, Conrad, but I had a rough day, but, I gave me time. I stayed on my phone and got a lot of work done, but in those phone calls, every call that I had, literally calls and texts, everyone that came up, hey man, did you hear about Truth? Hey man, did you hear about Truth? Hey man, and everybody has all kind of ideas, but at the end of the day, it truly is a result of Vince selling the company. That this is the new WWE, and it's not going back, it's not going reverse, but the industry as a whole, man, there's some opportunity, because the market is going to be, I'll say this, flooded with talent, with a voice, with a social media following, with a promotional punch and power. It's exciting. Now, it's not personally exciting. I love Truth, and I hope we get to continue to talk about him. And I think there's a full episode on him, because there is, I've, for several years, when he came in the door, at TNA, yes, Truth had some comedy, but I always saw him also. I mean, he was champion. I saw him as a very, when Truth wanted to cut a serious promo, good God, he could cut a very serious promo. But once I kind of saw the role he settled into and where Vince saw him at and what he utilized him, there wasn't ever a segment that he didn't hit it out of the park. And like you just said, he just comes off the Cena situation. I think that more than anything, people out of left field. But I know I'm kind of rambling and jumping all over. I think there's a boatload of opportunity. Personally, I hate to see it for Truth, but I know him. he's going to rebound in bigger and broader and bolder ways. Buddy, I think the future is very bright for that man.
Don't we all love summer vacation, relaxing, laying out by the pool, barbecues, hitting the beach, doing, well, nothing? Well, how about a summer vacation from your house payments? With SaveWithConrad.com, you can do just that. Reduce your monthly payments by making the equity you built up in your home work for you. You can roll together those high interest rate credit cards into one lower monthly payment, and perhaps access some of that newfound equity to turn your house into your dream home with no money out of pocket. And how about this? You get to skip your next 2 house payments. That's right. You won't have to make your June or your July house payment. You're done until August 1st. Go right now to SaveWithConrad.com. Let my team run the numbers for you for free. There's no obligation, and if we can't help you save some cash, we won't waste your time. And did I mention we're offering a 3-year guarantee right now? That's right. That means if at any point interest rates improve over the next 3 years, you get a free refi. That's right. No new lender fees from us. So you get to save money now without wasting money later when the rates improve on a whole second set of closing costs. Why not go to SaveWithConrad.com and get a guarantee? Save money now and save money later with your friend in the mortgage business. That's me, Conrad Thompson at SaveWithConrad.com. Shoot me an email at Conrad@SaveWithConrad.com. Give us a call at 888-425-0105. Or get yourself a quick quote, even talk to a live person right now at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 2129, equal housing lender. Let's take a summer vacation from house payments at SaveWithConrad.com.